Hello, y'all. What's up, Aquarius energy? How you doing, my Aquarian, my eclectic souls? I'm sorry that you're on the last of the wheel and you have to wait so long for one of these readings. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get this done. Each one of these is so long that it takes a lot of energy out of me to do these readings. So, really quick, if I can just grab your attention for one moment. If you have already looked at your sun or your other signs in like your big three or other parts of your chart, then you've probably already heard this spiel and you can skip over it, but I have an announcement that I will no longer be doing no contact readings of that nature or pick a card readings that are peeking in on connections and allowing us to keep people rent-free up in our heads. There will be, however, information on connections that exist in the zodiac readings, which are moving to the forefront of this channel. And those are really insightful into your side, though. So like into what's going on for your perspective, what's going on that you maybe need to be aware of, or things that are just like much more centered around the individual and not the person that they're dealing with. So that's announcement number one. Announcement number two, if you'd like to follow me in a more personal journey where I will post stories of my life and my journals that I have worked on for the last 6 years in reprogramming my mind and doing all these things for mental health. You can find that link in the description box under the Instagram account. It's Crystal Danielle. So if you would like to follow me there, you can also follow the Temporal Taurus as well. I don't really post that much on that Instagram account anymore. I used to, but right now I own another business. It's in full season right now, in like my peak season. So it's a little bit busy around here. So I'm trying to just like, go where I can. I have 3 sort of projects that I'm working on, and that one is my business, which is my main source of income. And then I have this as sort of my side hustle. And then I also have the writing that's sort of just for me and for my own creative outlet. So those are sort of my avenues of attention outside of my children and all the things that they have going on. So, okay, Aquarius, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Now, before we begin, I want to tell you about the layout here. So the first part of this is going to be your energy read. Then we're going to actually choose a self-care card. We're going to put that face down. That'll sit here until the end of the reading, and then we'll pull out your self-care card and end the reading on a note that is what you can do for yourself to provide yourself self-love through the month ahead of you. Following the energy reading is going to be then your general message, a general reading that is designed just for you and sort of to give you kind of an idea what you have going on in the month ahead. Then we'll go into singles, and then we'll go into those involved in a connection. And then lastly, we'll end that again at that self-care card. So Aquarius, what I do when I am shuffling cards and getting out the layout to determine what to provide you with energy is I turn on music and then I pick 3 songs that come up. The very first song was Unbroken by Missy Higgins. It's like this, it's just really about a lot of the themes within this the music that came up is about like seeing something for the first time or through a new set of eyes, or maybe having an idea of something or how things should be, and then building into a perspective of seeing something for the first time in a different way. Another thing that I did note on this Unbroken song was that she mentions it's like there's a part, it's like 1 line 2 line tragedy, but the 2 line, like 1 line 2 line thing is essentially, I mean, I assume she's talking about a pregnancy test, and so there's a potential that there's like pregnancy somewhere surrounding your connection. You may find out someone is pregnant. I feel like that's just for like probably a small number of you, or you know, it could be just coincidental that it came up. The next song, which I feel like is the meat and potatoes of your energy, is actually Window by Fiona Apple. And this is literally her, like, she says, like, she's talking about how she was seeing this man through like a certain lens, through a pane of glass, essentially. And so she's like, so I had to break the window, and it just had to be, it was in my way. And she's talking about like really breaking down her illusion surrounding how she saw this individual. And then the final one was Hello from Adele. So you could have maybe gone through a time where you haven't spoken to someone in a little while, and now they're reaching out to you, or you are sort of feeling that as well, as though there's somebody maybe from a distance from you that you haven't spoken to in a while and would like to hear from, or would like to reach out to. That's another thing as well. Okay, so moving right then into your energy, I'm going to start here with your spirit animals and what you have going on here. You have the fire ant. So I do think that there is something that is occurring that is slightly agitating for you. Something that you are not necessarily wanting to deal with, but are willing to tackle it, and arguably willing to attack it. I don't necessarily feel that it's like anger necessarily, but it is sort of an aggressiveness to take on something, and an aggressiveness to handle a situation is more so the energy that's kind of there. It's like it's like, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. It's like kind of a need to just deal, you know, a need to handle the thing. Another thing that you have going on as well is that you are earning some stripes in this moment. There is a little bit of a transformation space existing for you, Aquarius. And I think it's like, it is something that I feel like, it's so funny because it's coming through in two ways. Like, one, it's coming through as you worked for it. The other is coming through like, it's just a design. What do I want? How do I say? Blah, blah, blah. How do I want to word this? It's like a design. It's like a part of your design, a part of your makeup. It's like the Aquarian energy, right? It's you are intended to sort of stand out as this individual, and arguably the zebra stands out. Like, honestly, those poor things. How do they camouflage in the wild? They don't. They stand out like a sore thumb, and I feel like that's really Aquarian energy. Like, I feel like y'all have such very eclectic, very unique energy. I would definitely say you are. There's some zodiacs within the zodiac system that I feel are just much different than the rest of them, at least for me. You know, I feel like others could maybe relate in differently, but as a Taurus, I tend to find that the Aquarian energy is the one that I just feel like is such a wild card on like the personality. And I feel like so many Aquarians I know, it's like everyone else is sort of existing in this plane together, and then there's Aquarius, and they're like, you're the way you see things and the way you see the world around you, I often feel is just such different perspectives than what I would consider like middle of the road, or even quote unquote normal. Many Aquarians are just so different. Not in a bad way either. Like, I love unique people anyway. So not in a bad way, just it's just a different energy. It's definitely has its own vibe, for sure. And so that kind of exists a little bit in that zebra energy as well. I also think that you are having a bit of awakening here, sort of, again, seeing things differently, seeing things from a new lens, seeing things in a way that you had not previously seen them. Something is being sort of guided to you, awakened to you, and you're willing to peek in on it. You're willing to be curious about it. And more importantly, down here, you're also willing to work on it. You have why, co-create, and then clean it up. So train confirmation, this must be important. Lord, So you're kind of in this awareness that there is something that needs work done. Again, like you're in a space of like, okay, I gotta tackle this thing. I'm gonna do it. I don't want to, but I have to because it's in front of me, and I'm seeing it just from a new perspective, and the perspective that I'm seeing it from is not allowing me to kind of move past this without having to do the work or fix this problem or change my vantage point on the situation. And so I feel like that's the moment that you're in right now, is this sort of trying to understand, first of all, why is this happening? But I think this is more in line with your sort of inquisitive nature and that curiosity, that kind of air about you that you have is quite curious energy. And then understanding like, oh, okay, well, I guess like it's sort of being in this space of like, perhaps maybe being in a bit of resistance in a situation or with a person, and now going, oh, I see, like this is how I can work with this person better, and just having like an awakening to that, and an understanding of how to work, maybe, I don't even want to say better with others, I don't think that's the right word, but just how we can work in unison with another person or with another connections. And then kind of understanding what needs to fall away in order for that to work. Also, again, there's that undertone too of seeing something differently, and clearing out the fog even. So there is something that you could have built clarity on too, that you just with some of the other energy, this is something too that you could have been potentially blindsided by, that you maybe weren't anticipating, or were anticipating this experience, or having to sort of be forced into seeing something differently. That's also a possibility here as well. And then up here you have your cards from The Universe Has Your Back deck by Gabrielle Bernstein. Your first one is, my capacity to tune in to the energy of love gives me the words I need when I'm ready to speak up, the compassion I need when it's time to forgive, and the power I need when I am lost. Something I do think, just having known a few Aquarians, that y'all tend to do is like keep a lot to yourself, like a lot of your, especially emotions, keep a lot of that to yourself, and then don't necessarily like express that outwardly. And this could be something too of some sort of understanding of some sort of communication that needs to happen, and also your like bravery and courage through it, and understanding that being able to communicate with others as well is a great way for us to connect. And then here we go. When I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. There is a possibility that you could have been seeing something with just a lot more aggression, or being really angry about a situation and not seeing it maybe from the other person's perspective, or even operating in a way that just was angry at what was going on, or angry at the situation around you, and then kind of understanding even that vantage point of anger is something that is still an internalized thing, right? We kind of choose the lens in which we operate through, the lens and how we see the world around us, and all of those things, right? So it's just really about sort of this awakening for you, this sort of clarity, this moment of clarity. The word of the month, Aquarius, for the month of September is surrender. And this could be as well like surrendering to a new way of seeing the world around you. Okay, so really quick, we're going to choose that self-care card to sit over here until the end of this reading. Let's see here. We'll take this bad boy. All right, Aquarius. So now let's move into your general message. So this general reading for Aquarius for the month ahead. You could be in your head a little bit. I did open right up to the Hanged Man and the Five of Swords. So this could be divine intervention, sort of actually maybe having to go within in order to see things from a different perspective. This being in a moment of pause. There's that Queen of Cups energy. Kind of finding where we can be a little bit softer to how we're viewing this moment. All right, Aquarius, what do we got for you? General reading for Aquarius, please. General reading. This all flew out as a chunk, so you know what? We're just going to take it as the whole reading. How about that? Why not? Yeah, so this is kind of acting like a timeline. And then here, definitely some like walking away from things, just walking away from energy. This doesn't have to be you like physically walking away from a person. In fact, for many of you, this could just be walking away from a perception. Okay, so here's like the timeline that we kind of got us into the general, like what we have going on right now. I feel like this is something that you're already in and already in awareness of. And then that's sort of taking you through the trajectory then for the month ahead. This was really, I feel like we were in a space of like having a very clear understanding of how we saw everything around us. Like everything was sort of copacetic, and it was like, it was really being in a moment that said, that said, I understand what is happening here. I know what is going on in this situation. I know, it was sort of like, sort of a, not righteousness. I don't think it was like very certain. Okay. It was being in a space of certainty and understanding that this is how it is, because, I've analyzed it from what I considered at the time, every angle, and therefore I know that this is right. This is true. What I see around me is the truth. And then you had a moment that changed that perspective. So the Tower came in and was like, well, actually, there's something that you have not seen here. There's something that you're not seeing. You didn't see this for all that it was. And then that caused quite a bit of conflict, arguably within self. It could have created some conflict within others, but again, it was like sort of that aggression, that, you know, perhaps there was, you know, situations or people around you. There could have been just a lot of energy involved in this that was like very conflicting. And through that, it allowed you this opportunity then to sort of expand your horizons and learn a new way of seeing the situation that you were in or the world around you. And then kind of moving into a moment of sort of protecting yourself through that. And then wanting to like, okay, now I understand. I have downloaded the information. I am ready to move on. I'm ready to walk away from that which no longer serves me. I'm ready to put the past behind me. I'm ready to essentially like try again, you know, or even move on from a pattern of thinking, or move on from a situation that was no longer serving me, and step into the future then. And it sort of was like, I mean, these are like, it wasn't the easiest decision, but then it kind of became like, okay, you know, it was like, it became easier, okay, or will become easier. And then we'll be taking this, you know, somewhat of this like leap forward, this sort of trust within ourselves, and this sort of, you know, reigniting sort of some kind of passion for life, or the passion for things and situations around you. And then also moving into a space of being able to work better with others. Better is, again, work more harmoniously within the connections around you. So that is like the general vibe for you, Aquarius. Let's get you into a singles reading. Single Aquariuses. What do you got going on? Could be have somebody willing to fight everyone off with a stick for you. And as they should, right? All right. Single Aquarius. What do we got going on? You could, again, there's a lot about working together with somebody. That's a big theme for you, like community. Could be something, friendships you could be leaning on. Here's that Three of Pentacles. I saw that. That was what I was talking about. And I didn't say that it was the Three of Pentacles I was talking about. And then it came out. It's like, if you're going to, like, if we're going to, if you're gonna talk about me, like, let me be here. That's such Aquarian energy, actually. I love it. This kind of came out sideways, so this could be something that is ultimately in the upright. This could be something that is sort of taking some courage from you. You know, there's like some sort of I don't know why this is present for some of you. There's some sort of humility factor here where it's like having to dust our own selves off and be like, oh, okay. Like a hit to our pride in some way. Sorry, let me just stop without saying why. I had to get a drink of water. Okay. Singles. Ultimately, though, I think that you learned something from that experience. This doesn't really seem like you just kind of learned, you know, what the learning has to do with is, hold on, I'm going to say working with one another, bringing in, you know, clear communication. These came out together. We have Judgment and the Knight of Pentacles. I don't like how the Judgment card in this in this deck is so like eerie, because the Judgment card is not actually that extreme. Well, I mean, I guess it's Judgment. It's like karma, right? Here we go. Okay, singles. So here it is. It's like building this awareness that we need to work better with somebody else. Better, I keep saying better, and I really don't want to say it that way, because I just don't think that's the right way to express it. But again, it's like this harmony that we're building within connections with being able to work in a way that is more peaceful and doesn't really put us in this energy, right? This energy of being all up inside our head and anxious or overthinking, and it's like this could even be convincing ourselves that something's like not going to work, and that how do I want to say this, and then kind of being wrong, you know, okay. There's that too, there's that element as well. But ultimately it's like through some courage in this situation, and also through some communication, through some seeing things again from a different perspective, being able to talk about that is bringing abundance into a situation that you have. And this is sort of a new beginning or a new chapter in terms of being single. Now, I do think that for some of you who, even though you're considering yourself single, there is a connection around you. This doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, okay? So if you're like single and looking at this and you're like, I literally have 0 romantic connections, and this could be like a friendship, a parent, things like that, right? Where it was just like a lot of being up inside our head, a lot of overthinking, a lot of thinking that I don't know how this situation is gonna pan out. I don't know how this is going to work. And then it's kind of like, okay, well, there's going to have to be some sort of compromise here. We're going to have to be able to find a way that we can work together. And then that sort of like brought in some karmic chapter. This is very divinely guided in a sense. It just feels that way. and then brought y'all into this union energy, or this is what we're sort of seeking here, is this union energy within this, and being able to get outside of our head. If this is you're single and you are focused on a romantic connection, I would be very mindful of connections that make us feel anxiously attached. So if that is the case here, I would really then argue to pull back and pull into self, and have then the courage to do that, and then have the courage to see it from a new lens in that way. I know for those of you who you're single, you're not involved in a situation, and this is like a friendship or a parent or something like that, being able to understand being able to work together harmoniously does kind of mean letting go of those sort of more rigid aspects. When I do think that there is a willingness to attack the situation, but I would be mindful that that sort of, you know, fiery energy, that fire ant energy, isn't us attacking one another either, because then we're not really going to be effectively communicating. And it's going to be even more difficult for us to then step into this union energy. Okay, let's move on. Aquarius is in a connection, just popping right out to that Queen of Wands energy. Someone tickling your pickle. That was inappropriate, kind of. Ace of Pentacles. High Priestess. Could be having some faith connection. Okay, Aquarius. Knight of Pentacles, Ace of Swords coming right back out. That was in the single space. That Knight of Cups was like, you didn't even mention me, and I know you done saw me on the bottom of the deck. Okay. Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands as well. It's like, and you were talking about me. It's so, oh my gosh, that's like the most Aquarian energy. Are you having a conversation about me? Let me in. Here we are. We have some players on the board. So Aquarius, a little bit of heart. Well, let me actually clarify this Three of Swords. What's going on here? I'm gonna take this one. Oh, thanks, appreciate that. Clarify the devil. It was like, we know you're gonna ask. This, I mean, I guess you could be dealing with a Capricorn. That's quite possible. Now, the Four of Swords in the reverse is, oh, that's that energy, right? Of seeing someone with a new lens. Okay, so I feel like underneath all of this, involved in a connection, okay, is this sort of energy of reflecting on someone, reflecting on a person, and now kind of seeing them in a different light. That true colors just came to my mind. So someone sort of showing you their true colors, showing you who they really are. And for some of you also, this sort of is like flipped in some way, where you saw someone, it's like you saw them as this, and then you weren't actually seeing them correctly. That's for some of you, okay? Ultimately, it's like what we wanted to be in a space of building upon something, you know, wanting sort of to bring in effective communication, some sort of like idea brewing, some sort of way of seeing this that we wanted to see transformed into this like Nine of Cups energy, like right, wanting to build upon that abundance, wanting this sort of wish fulfilled within a connection. And being, I mean, arguably, it's like this is something that you were down for. You were very willing to give into this connection, very willing to be in a space of compromise, really being in a space of I mean, here's the thing is that you're operating in this queen energy, and then the person that you're working with is operating in a knight energy. So they're just, you are quite possibly, ahead of them in terms of emotional maturity, and ahead of them in being able to effectively communicate, to work together, okay? And then they are sort of, it's like they're a good time for a short time kind of thing, and then they come out and it's like, oh, this is who you are, okay? Like, that's the fiery energy that's underneath that Knight of Wands, is actually the devil energy here, right? And I do feel like there was something that we just didn't see about this person. Now, again, it's like it's just working in sort of two ways, because it could have been seeing somebody and being wrong about it, because this is upside down. Or it could have been seeing somebody and not wanting to accept them for who they are, not wanting to accept that this person operating in a certain way, that this person behaved a certain way, and they have approached you a certain way, and feeling sort of that there's an imbalance in that. Underneath this all too, there is something that is ultimately sort of needed to walk away from in this space. Arguably, this is typically walking away sort of from ideas that we have of how things should be, and looking into the future and being able to plan ahead in that way. And so again, there's a duality, because for some of you it's that you're sort of walking away because there's a sense of betrayal around this, right? You had been betrayed and didn't see it the way that it was kind of blindsiding you, right? And then having to walk away from that. For others of you, it is actually the opposite of that. It's like you had convinced yourself that someone was worse than they were, and then had to wake up to seeing that they might have been, might have had a valid point in a situation as well. Okay. And you'll know which end of the spectrum you are for that. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right, let's get you your self-care message, Aquarius. You have my body, my home. I am at peace in my body carries me through the world, and I celebrate it. I am home and fully present in my body. That to me is just an indicator for you to make sure you are doing things to get present with yourself. I pulled this right out to the star. Star card is like very, well, actually that is isn't that, yeah, the star is a representation of the Aquarius energy. So it's like, I'm the one. But anyway, I feel like this is more of an indication to just be very mindful of your overthinking in the month ahead. Do things to get yourself present and get yourself out of that head. Remember that even when we are dwelling, we are manifesting. And when we are dwelling, we are manifesting what we don't want. And I think that's really important to understand, that manifesting is not always going to be a positive return investment, right? It is what we give it. So make sure that we're staying out of our head and make sure we're getting present. Something that one of my friends told me very recently was if you're feeling some type of way or you're feeling angry, to put on an angry song and like literally just like belt it out. And I was feeling some type of way the other day, and I was like, I turned on this song by Tool. It's actually called it's called Hooker with a Penis, and there's a part in it where he just screams like, fuck you, buddy, like over and over again. And I was like, perfect, this is the one for me. This is the song to get my anger out. And it works, it helps, man. So just try it. Anyway, self-care message for Aquarius. I've got some advice for you, little buddy. All right, anyway. There's the sun coming out, so this is really positive. King of Wands, you know, I think this is really about taking action towards the things that you are passionate about, Aquarius, for yourself, to be able to get you out of this, out of your mind and into your body and into the present, into the moment, is really chasing the things that light you on fire, that make you feel good, all right? Okay, Aquarius, if you can do me a huge favor and subscribe if you're new here and you enjoyed this. One thing that really helps viewership as well is if you like the video, and then if you want to leave me a comment down below, that helps as well. Thank you so much for being here, Aquarius. Enjoy the rest of your day.